So, sir, what are your ideas about oppression?
Okay. My big idea about oppression is that it's the unjust use of power. So when someone takes advantage of his or her authority to control over a group of people or a certain person, for me that's oppression. And to be very honest, another big idea is that whenever there is ignorance, or wherever there is ignorance, there is always oppression.
So, what instances have you seen here in the Philippines about oppression?
Okay. Well, there are many instances. Apart from the Marcos regime, I think that that's one of the greatest examples of oppression. And I believe that apart from the Marcos regime, whenever there is a certain individual who tends to overuse his authority, for example, a certain barangay captain can be a cause or can be an example of an oppressive person, or maybe in a societal context, there's also oppression. Even at school, I would say that there is oppression.
Well, how about in our modern day-to-day? What have you seen, whether in politics or
In politics, modern in the Philippines or overseas?
in the Philippines?
In the Philippines, about oppression.
Yes.
Is it my experience or?
What have you observed?
I'm sure. Well, the good thing about the presidency of Duterte is that somehow I think we're going on the right track, because a lesser, well, the people who tend to oppress other people before tend to feel less likely to do so. I think they're afraid of the current president that we have, and I think that's very good. It's a good track to be at, because the instances of people oppressing other people gets to be lowered.
How about in overseas?
Okay, overseas, well, as what was mentioned, whenever there is ignorance, there is oppression. So, for example, in Japan, wherein the women are considered the weaker sex, they are oppressed collectively. In Iraq, when Saddam Hussein was the president, he used his power to gather a lot of things, and he was the primary source of terrorism in Iraq, which I think was one of the saddest moments in history. In America, people tend to oppress black people, and I think racism is one of the children of oppression, and it's still very sad because it still exists nowadays.
Okay, so lastly, sir, what are your personal experiences?
My personal experiences about oppression would be when I was having my internship with Summit Media. I felt that I was being forced to do a lot of things because I'm the only guy there, and I'm the only person or the student from a public state university. So most of my colleagues were from Endaran, from UST, from LaSalle. So they tend to be favored more, and I would consider that as an example of oppression or an oppressive experience of mine. I felt really powerless. I wanted to fight back, but you know, when a lot of people around you are oppressive, your voice just really gets to be shut out. So I think, I believe it's one of the most defining moments in my life as a student and in my life as a professional.
So what did you like quit your?
No, the good thing about me is I'm very resilient, and I think that's one of the traits of Filipinos that I really like. We are resilient, and we tend to just really not go with the flow, but we tend to go against it until we reach a certain goal. And I was able to finish my internship very well, and I got a very good score, and that's what matters most.